We're in Irvine, California at Rivian's design studio to take a look at an R1S, but not any R1S. This is the R1S Pebble Beach Edition. It's a one-off special edition that was created to go to auction at the upcoming Pebble Beach Auto Show, and it is full of unique details from the interior to the exterior. We're here to take a closer look at those details to find out what makes the R1S Pebble Beach Edition unique and what it might mean for Rivian's future. So let's take a closer look. So, Jeff, thanks for having us. And what are we looking at here?
So this is our first one-of-one edition we've done for Rivian. We're calling this part of a series we want to continue to build off of called Studio Originals, where this vehicle is going to be auctioned off in Pebble Beach and Monterey in the next coming weeks. We're really excited about this one because we had an opportunity to really explore and how we can sort of shape the Rivian brand depending on where it's being shown or the type of customer demographics. And knowing the event at Pebble Beach and the Quail being a much more elevated event, we wanted to see how we could sort of push the boundaries of what we think Rivian can be perceived as in terms of being elevated, but still maintaining the rugged capability and the inviting feel of a Rivian.
Sure. Okay, so this is the Pebble Beach Edition, but fundamentally it's just an R1S quad, right? There's no mechanical difference under the skin here.
No.
Okay, so would it be fair to say that the Pebble Beach Edition is focused on aesthetics for the most part?
Yes.
Okay, so let's get into those aesthetics.
Well, if you're looking at it right now, one thing that I would, hopefully you can already notice, is very hard to capture in the studio on camera, but really we see this outside in daylight, is this paint.
Yeah.
This is a four-stage paint that we put on this vehicle with a very liquid metallic finish to it. We're calling this color Monterey Silver. And the beautiful part of this color is not only does it have a little bit of warmth to it, you can see it has a sort of champagne feeling to it, but as you walk around the vehicle, it transitions from looking from silver to a gray to a champagne, and depending on the reflections of what it's capturing, the color really shifts.
For sure.
And it provides a really great detail of all the surfacing that's on the car.
Absolutely.
And this is completely hand painted.
Wow.
It's been buffed and polished, so from a paint perspective, yeah, the quality is extremely high.
It's very impressive, yeah. And I'm seeing some accents on here too that look a little bit different.
Yeah, we have this is our burnished bronze finish that we have not only now, it's in the interior, we brought it to the exterior. So any of the tow hooks, the skid plates, also the halo trim that's around the daylight opening are all done in that burnished bronze.
Okay.
But then we're continuing that theme of having these warm colors that accentuate some of the flop that's in the paint. It's more of a discovered read, and that's what we really like to look at, is like what is first read, second read, and third read.
Sure.
So when you look at it from a distance, I don't think many people would notice, for example, that the roof is brown, but as you start to see it, you're like, it has this other feeling where you're looking at the vehicle, it looks different than an R1S, and you kind of have to look at it and be like, well, this looks a lot better, it looks way more premium.
Sure.
But what is it? What are the things that you're finding? The cladding, for example, which is on our vehicles, is done in molded color. These are all painted. They're painted in a really nice dark gray satin finish.
Okay.
That's also got some warmth to it. You can't see it here, but in the sunlight, there is a pearlescent effect in it. So as the sunlight hits it, you'll get some of that warmth in it that really complements the exterior color, giving it this very much this tone-on-tone feeling.
Cool. And the wheels are another unique aspect of the edition, I understand.
Yes, the wheels are bespoke. They're custom for this car. These are one-off set that have been machined specifically for this car. The multi-stage on this, the amount of work to paint these wheels was quite a lot of time.
Yeah, 3-tones. I've seen 2-tone wheels, but 3-tone is really unusual.
The inside pockets match the finish that's on the cladding. So really using a lot of the colors that are already on the car.
Absolutely.
Really matching the sort of exterior paint color with the bright part, the bronze, and then the cladding color. So once again, going with this tone-on-tone feeling. We've got the Rivian badging also all done in burnished bronze to match. And then we have our little gear guard character there, Gigi, showing that his hair flown back to signify that, hey, this is a really fast car.
This is another badge that only the quad motor powertrain can wear, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
So all of the claddings are painted on this car.
Okay.
And it has that really nice, as you walk around, you can see it really shifts and it gets more of a tonal feeling to it.
Totally. Yeah, the paint, the degree that which it really kind of shifts tone in different lights is really remarkable. Wonderful. Well, let's take a look inside.
Yeah. Well, one thing I'd like to start with is our UI. that even though this is a one of one, we were able to work with our software team to make sure that in your mobile app and in the vehicle, that the representation of the vehicle matches this one of one.
Yeah.
So this is actually rendered to match the vehicle you're in.
That's cool. So there's a lot of physical unique aspects of this too, but there's a little bit of unique software code in this too.
Yeah,
one of one code.
Exactly. Which is something that we would like to really spend a lot of time on, and with Rivian is like these extra little attentions to detail are the things that maybe you don't know right away or you see right away, but as a customer, the more time you spend with it, you start to find these little discovered elements.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes the vehicle feel special.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can see from like the contrast between, you know, the really light colored, you know, Advantex material we have here versus the headliner, which really is tonal with the wood.
Sure.
And just a subtle amount of the, you know, we really used it sparingly, but in some really nice areas of adding some of that gradient detail, which really provides this vehicle to feel very warm, inviting, premium, but once again, not feeling pretentious or something that requires you to be very worried about using it and getting it dirty.
Definitely.
Feeling more like a inviting living space. Even down to the stitching that we've done on the fabric portion, you know, doing this cross-stitched.
Yeah.
And in order to do this, able to do this cross-stitching, this all has to be hand done.
Wow.
So we have that on the doors, we have it on the center console, we have it on the IP, and then you'll also see it on the back of the seats as well. Just once again, giving a little bit of that crafted detail. The floor mats, which have that gradient on them using the Cecil, those were sprayed by our team. We used a combination of dyeing them, but then also just spraying them with literally dye to get the finish that we were after. And this was done by hand to make sure that we got the right gradient that we wanted. Really makes you feel like the sunset if you're looking outside. We've got this very warm glow to the cool colors.
Yeah, really evokes the coast of Monterey.
Yes.
Definitely. When you look around this space, is there any particular single tiny aspect that stands out to you as like being particularly challenging to accomplish, or that you iterated on, you know, a significant amount, or that kind of didn't fit in with the rest, but you just got it to work?
I'd say a couple of them. One, to get this pattern to sit right and get these lines to line up was actually really difficult. Sure. Probably something that would be very hard to replicate in production, but because this is crafted and we could, you know, make some mistakes and rewrap them a few times, we were able to do that. Also, if you look at this small strip here with this gradient in here, for this to be an operated procedure for production, it would be almost impossible to get that level without actually cutting it at that exact location where it's hand laid in to get those. And those were things that were challenges that we had to work through. But because it is a one of one, we're able to spend a lot more time knowing. It's obvious, but it's a lot easier to do something really nice and perfect once than it is to do it, you know, tens of thousands of times.
Absolutely.
You're not limited by supplier capability. You're not limited by manufacturing. So you're able to do things that are much more bespoke and crafted that normally is very difficult to do at scale for a production vehicle. Actually, some of them are just not possible. You're not using the exterior paint, for an example.
Sure.
I mean, you see it on very, very, very high-end, you know, hypercars where they'll actually do a multi-stage paint and they'll wet sand it and buff it.
Sure.
It's not to say that doesn't happen, but it happens at a much, much higher price point.
So Jeff, we've gotten a really thorough tour of all the special details of the R1S Pebble Beach edition here, and it's going to be headed to Pebble Beach in just a few days to be auctioned to a lucky buyer. But I think the really bigger picture idea here is what this represents for the future of Rivian potentially. You said at the start that this could be a project that blossoms into more one-off vehicles and allows Rivian's design department to explore different special editions and different finishes. So tell me about your vision with what this could unlock for you.
So this vehicle here, we're calling our first series of our Studio Originals, where it is something that is very crafted. It's a one-of-one. I think it's also a great opportunity for us, as you mentioned, to really explore and experiment what we can do from a color and materials perspective and really push the boundaries in terms of design. When you're doing something for one-of-one or a limited number, it allows you that opportunity, not only what we talked about in terms of creating something that maybe you wouldn't do from a manufacturing or cost perspective, but also for something that doesn't need to meet a extremely wide demographic.
Sure.
When you look at color materials for vehicles, I mean, United States has been that way for a while, that the most common interior color is black, the most common exterior is white. And when you're trying to design something for series production, you want to invoke your personality, but then also know that it needs to not be so polarizing, or maybe not just polarizing, but very custom that might only fit to a certain demographic.
Sure.
But with these vehicles, when we do them, we can really have fun and really push the boundaries, what we want to do from a design standpoint, and also just get market feedback. It's a great way to get input from our customers or fans that are saying, I love this, can you do this? And we've gotten a lot of feedback already by posting, some of the photos of the vehicle, and a lot of customers saying, hey, I love this color, can you do this? And maybe we wouldn't do this exact color, for example, but if we said we wanted to invest in this color space, we could do something similar.
So what you address is very interesting to me, because as I was thinking about this, I find it very interesting that as Rivian works to get some of its more mass market vehicles into production, which is no small undertaking in doing your own color material finish profiles for those as well, you have the capacity to do this one-off. So is it possible that Rivian would make options like this a little more accessible to consumers? Because as you said, we're entering into new market segments here, but you haven't found the ceiling for what your pricing could be either. So does this indicate potentially any sort of expanded option palette for Rivian customers to personalize their vehicles in the future?
But potentially,
Okay.
we haven't quite decided. We want to see how this one goes, but it is something that definitely we're interested in continuing to build off of and creating these one-offs.
Yeah.
And when I say one-offs, the way we'd like to approach this is more like a sneaker drop, something that you could get in there, get excited by, customers see it, get involved, where we can be a little bit more expressive and experimental with something, and then continue to build off of those. And in some cases, we can get inspired by the special editions that we do and help it through customer feedback, once again, maybe influence what we do for a regular trim level.
Sure. So fair to say this is not going to be the last of the studio original Rivians that we see.
No.
Well, it's a great place to start, this R1S quad motor Pebble Beach edition. It's going to be heading to auction in Northern California in just a few days. Good luck with your bidding. Until then, for all the details, head to MotorTrend.com. Thanks for the tour, Jeff.
Thank you, Alex. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was great.